Dear viewers, the topic which we will discuss today is mending of fences between Saudi Arabia and Iran. Since 2016, when the Saudi kingdom hanged a Shia cleric, Iran protested and accused Saudi Arabia of discrimination, and that led to the termination or cut-off of diplomatic relations between Saudi Arabia and Iran in 2016. UAE followed and it downgraded its diplomatic relations with Iran. Now, following the visit of American President, US President Joseph Biden to Israel and Saudi Arabia, there is some sort of transformation as far as Iranian-Saudi relations are concerned. It is too early to predict that the mending of fences between Saudi Arabia and Iran will take place soon. But since the last couple of years, Iraq is doing or undertaking its mediation, is involved in mediation between Iran and Saudi Arabia. And recently, several level of talks were held at the security level, and now the talks will be held at the political and economic level. So there's a possibility that normalization of relations between Saudi Arabia and Iran will have enormous implications on the Gulf's security environment. There are two things which we have to take into account. The first is that Saudi Arabia has now thought about a policy following Joseph Biden's visit not to put all its eggs in one basket, that it will not toe American line, that the US cannot take Saudi Arabia for granted, and that is the reason why Saudi Arabia is encouraging Iraq to continue its mediation with Iran. The second thing is that Iran is also interested in mending fences with Saudi Arabia because of the fact that since the Iran-Iraq war of 1980 to 1988, Saudi-Iranian relations have been tense, and certainly the US and Israel are behind. In order to perpetuate mistrust and misgivings between Iran and Saudi Arabia, and to basically argue that the real threat in the Middle East is Iran because of its nuclear ambitions. But Saudi Arabia is not subscribing to such type of ideas or such type of school of thought in which Iran is singled out and is portrayed by Israel and the US as an enemy state. So it is expected that if the Iraqi mediation is successful, then Iran and Saudi Arabia will normalize their relations. And then it will be followed by other Gulf countries like the UAE and Bahrain and Kuwait and so forth. And it is very important, it's essential that in order to deepen some sort of unity as far as the Muslim world is concerned, Saudi Arabia and Iran must mend fences. But for that matter, these two countries will have to be flexible, will have to abandon their intransigent and rigid stance. And that basically brings us to a very fundamental question, that will Iran and Saudi Arabia follow an approach which is pragmatic, realistic, because as a result of the confrontation, and particularly what has been going on in Yemen, that Iran and Saudi Arabia, they've been fighting a proxy war as far as Yemen is concerned. All such things, and Saudi Arabia accuses Iran of supporting Hezbollah and Amal Malaysia in Lebanon and various terrorist and extremist groups. And certainly Saudi Arabia also has a fear of the Shia crescent as far as the Gulf is concerned. But Iran has made it clear that it has no extraterritorial ambitions, that its nuclear program is not directed against any Arab country, and it is Israel which should be considered as a threat and not Iran. So I think the time has come for both the Saudi and the Iranian leadership to reconsider their age-old policy of confrontation and to mend fences based on logical and pragmatic line of action. Thank you very much.